Think about your neighbors for a second. The ones who wave at you every morning. The ones who help you carry groceries. The ones whose kids play with your kids. Now ask yourself one question. How well do you really know them? Because in a quiet neighborhood in Colorado Springs, people asked themselves that same question. And the answer destroyed everything they thought they knew about the man next door. He had lived among them for 13 years. 13 years of barbecues, 13 years of small talk, 13 years of being the perfect neighbor, and not a single person, not one, had any idea what he was doing inside that house. Colorado Springs, 2005. Dennis Rader was everything a neighbor should be. Friendly, helpful, reliable. He served as the president of his local church council. He was a compliance officer for his city. His job was literally to enforce rules and keep people safe. He attended church every Sunday. He smiled at everyone he passed. He was the kind of man people pointed to and said, "Now there is a good person." But Dennis Rader had a secret so dark, so calculated, so horrifying, that when it finally came out, an entire nation fell silent. Here is where the first twist hits. Dennis Rader had been living this double life, not for months, not for a few years, but for over 30 years. Since 1974, he had been operating under a name he gave himself, BTK, bind, torture, kill, 3 words that would become the most feared initials in Kansas history. He had started killing in 1974. He had never stopped thinking about it, and for 30 years, he had sat in church, smiled at his neighbors, gone to work every morning, while carrying a secret that would have destroyed everyone around him if they had known. And here is the part that should keep you up at night. Nobody suspected him, not once, not ever. BTK didn't just kill, he communicated. Over 30 years, he sent letters to police. He sent packages to news stations. He taunted investigators with clues about his crimes. He wanted to be famous. He wanted to be feared. He wanted people to know his name. And here is the first major twist. For years, investigators couldn't catch him, despite the letters, despite the clues, despite him practically begging to be found. He was too careful, too calculated, too smart. He had studied police methods. He knew exactly what investigators looked for, and he made sure, every single time, to leave nothing behind. For 30 years, the BTK killer remained a ghost. Then, he made one mistake. In 2004, after years of silence, BTK started communicating again. He sent more letters, more packages, more taunts, and then he asked investigators something nobody expected. He asked if a computer floppy disk could be traced back to him. Police publicly responded through the media. They said no, a floppy disk cannot be traced. It was a lie. BTK believed them. He sent a floppy disk with his next communication. Investigators immediately examined it, and hidden deep within the disk's metadata was a single deleted file. The file was linked to a church in Wichita, Kansas. The name on the file, Dennis Rader. 30 years of hunting, 30 years of fear, 30 years of a community living next to a monster ended because of one floppy disk. Dennis Rader was arrested on February 25, 2005. He was pulled over in his car near his home. He had no idea the floppy disk had led investigators straight to him. He thought he was untouchable. He thought he was too smart. He thought he had won. When officers told him why he was being arrested, his face changed completely. The friendly neighbor, the church council president, the compliance officer, was gone, and what was left was something nobody who knew him had ever seen before. Here is the twist that breaks your heart. Dennis Rader had a wife, Paula. They had been married for 34 years. She had no idea, not a single suspicion, not a single doubt. For 34 years, she had slept next to a man she thought she knew completely. His daughter, Carrie Rawson, later wrote a book about what it felt like to discover her father was BTK. She described the moment police told her as the moment her entire life split into two, before and after. Everything she had believed about her family, about her childhood, about her father, destroyed in a single phone call. His neighbors said the same thing. 13 years of living next door, 13 years of waving hello, 13 years of complete and total blindness. Dennis Rader was sentenced to 10 consecutive life terms. He is currently in prison in Kansas. He will never be released. But here is what stays with you long after this story ends. He lived among people for 30 years. Normal people. Good people, people just like you, and not one of them ever saw it, because monsters don't always look like monsters. Sometimes they look like the man who waves at you every morning, the man who helps you carry your groceries, the man next door. That thought is what makes this case the most disturbing of all. Subscribe to Crime Crypt right now, because next week we have a case that will make you question the people closest to you even more. Hit subscribe, hit the bell, and stay with Crime Crypt, where dark secrets come to light. Skull.